Iron Sky is a Finnish-Australian-German comedy film about Nazis living on the moon. In the story, they hid there since 1945, quietly planning their return to Earth once the time was right. The story proper opens in 2018, in which President Stephanie Paul, an obvious simulacrum of Sarah Palin, has sent an African-American male model named James Washington to the moon, in keeping with one of her campaign promises entitled, "Black to the Moon." Wackiness ensues, the Nazis invade Earth, war breaks out, soldiers switch sides, it's chaos. It's also really, really good. It's genuinely funny, ambitious, and at times clever. It also has an awful 36% critical rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Such is life. In movie fandom circles, however, Iron Sky has gained cult status, but the ludicrousness of the film's premise, and the fact that the vast majority of critics have torn it apart, has given Iron Sky a feeling similar to so-called "so bad it's good" movies like Troll 2. This is unfair and inaccurate. Troll 2 is a so bad it's good movie. It's a film that the director called a serious story about the importance of family. What it is an English language movie created by someone who did not speak English, full of the worst, most stilted dialogue captured on film spoken by what can only generously be called community theater actors. The Room is another. It contains gaping plot holes, atrocious acting, the most uncomfortable and flaccid love scenes in recent history, and an almost complete lack of understanding on how human beings speak to one another. After the critics weighed in, the director backpedaled and claimed that The Room was always supposed to be a comedy. He was lying. Birdemic is a thriller with an environmental message, allegedly inspired by the Alfred Hitchcock classic The Birds. It suffers from terrible editing, audio, and, well, terrible everything. Iron Sky is not Birdemic. It's not The Room, it's not Troll 2, it's not a so bad it's good movie at all. It's a comedy. It's an intentional comedy, and it's funny. The humor is not related to its editing or acting. The editing is professional and the acting is serviceable. It's funny because it's supposed to be funny. Of course, that is not to say that movies like Birdemic and other so bad it's good movies don't have value. The idea of being funny by accident is not entirely an insult. Penicillin was an accident. That doesn't take anything away from its significance. Also, regardless of why someone enjoys something, that person enjoys it. The concept of ironic enjoyment is another way of saying enjoyment. There is no difference except as a means to place barriers between fans of a film and those claiming to only enjoy something ironically to put themselves above the media in question. Thus, it should be noted that none of what is being said here is meant to diminish the subculture fandoms of movies like The Room. It is only to show that Iron Sky is of a different quality than something made by Tommy Wiseau. Iron Sky is not a bad movie. Whether or not someone deems it good or merely passable as criticism, it is at very least not a bad movie. It's a not bad movie. Iron Sky pays homage to the Stanley Kubrick classic Dr. Strangelove at least twice in this motion picture. First, when a wheelchair-bound James Washington is trying desperately not to give the Nazi salute. This is an obvious reference to Strangelove himself, a former Nazi who has a hand with a mind of its own. The second would give away too much of the plot and spoil the ending. Wouldn't want that. Iron Sky, like Dr. Strangelove, is a political satire, and it knows where it came from. It's more blunt than Kubrick's vision, and a lot sillier, but its messages about the choice of peace over war and the threat of world annihilation are present in both pictures. There is a valid complaint among the criticism of Iron Sky. It violates this important movie rule. Never show a better movie in the middle of yours. Iron Sky plays a clip of The Great Dictator, a satire of Nazi Germany starring and directed by Charlie Chaplin. In fact, The Great Dictator serves as a significant plot point because only by watching the film all the way through does the lead Nazi actress realize that Hitler was an awful human being, and with that knowledge, she changed her allegiance. That is a reasonable gripe about Iron Sky. However, given the importance of The Great Dictator to the plot, it would be difficult to remove it and still have the same film with the same story. Also, it feels as if the filmmakers, much like with the Dr. Strangelove references, were not piggybacking on the success of The Great Dictator, but were rather showing tribute to the classic film. In the endless sea of bad comedies, an ocean of nothingness, Iron Sky attempted to be something. Most comedies do not even dream of being anything more than bad jokes and a bottomless abyss of purposelessness. But for every dozen Scary Movie 3s, for every 100 Police Academy sequels, there is an attempt, sometimes successful, sometimes not, to make something grander than what we were expecting. Iron Sky certainly fits that description. The comedy inherent in both the premise and the delivery are strong enough, but what makes Iron Sky better than just another comedy is the sheer guts and ambition that went into making this. Iron Sky suggests that it would be fairly easy for America to be manipulated into adopting policies from a Nazi, and while this is overreaching at best, the audacity to say this and put it on film can't help but be respected, if only for its insane bravery. Iron Sky does not just mock America, though. Towards the end of the film, the United Nations convened to discuss the threat of space Nazis. The president pushed for full-scale war because it would likely get her re-elected. She sent a space warship called the USS George W. Bush to blow up the Nazi moon base and spaceships. It turned out that most of the other nations also illegally developed armed spacecraft, and joined in to defeat the Nazi armada. Their alliance was short-lived though, but to protect from spoilers, that is all will be said of that. In short, Iron Sky takes the arms race, still alive in the 21st century believe it or not, to task. Not only the American end of it, but the entire planet. Iron Sky takes precisely 0 prisoners. This movie combines space opera, goofball comedy, and pointed satire into one motion picture. It had a limited budget, no famous actors outside of Udo Kier, a director with limited experience, and a preposterous plot, but the filmmakers said, yeah, let's do that. Instead of cashing in on the cheaply made but almost always profitable found footage horror phenomenon or something along those lines, these filmmakers went for a grand comedy epic with about 7.5 million euros, the cost of a low-budget independent film about a quirky family with no special effects. Iron Sky is not a bad movie, but even if it were, the ambition alone is worth respecting, because in a landscape in which not enough movies take risks, Iron Sky took all of them.